Well, hello everyone and welcome back. It's been a little bit. She's all painted. I used a, where is it? I just had it out. Dianita's Rainy Day Gray, and then I mixed a white with it to come up with this shade. And then I've been going through, these are the paints that come with Revell. They have a pretty nice, just regular gray that I've been hitting little squares, raised squares all over. But then I decided, I was watching Adam Savage's tested, and he was working on his, and I've been meaning to do this as well. I just forgot to do it before I started working on the panels, is doing a couple panels just a little bit off color. And since I used the Anita Rainy Day Gray and some white to lighten it up, I'll just go straight with the base color, which is the Rainy Day Gray, and I went and sprayed a couple panels, a little bit of a difference in color. So we're going to start pulling them up there. I have a little bit of where it's grabbing there, but I'm okay because she's a damaged ship, so, or vehicle, or whatever you want to call her. But I just wanted to give a little bit, they do that a lot at ILM, some panel differences. And the thing with this acrylic paint is if you don't seal it, you got to be careful when you tape because it'll want to lift. Because it has no solvents in it to make it really stick to the plastic. Even with a primer would help, and we have the black primer underneath, but it'll still want to lift even off the black primer. But I have some chipping, but that all works, being that the base plastic is gray underneath anyway, and it's fairly close to the gray that I used. I came out pretty close, and you're leaning a little bit. This foot has to be down and back in order for him to sit up. But there's no way to lock that foot in, that leg in. It's in its locked positions, but they have a little bit of play. So if he tilts over. And then there's a couple little chips there, but I'll use those as blast hits. So sometimes all these things become happy little accidents. So let's see how this worked. Not too bad. I'm okay with this. Yeah, that works. It may be a little more contrasty. I don't know how it's showing on camera, and I don't know even if the camera's catching it now. It's not. Let's see if we can move him. You can see that panel there. And I'll turn it around so you guys can get a better look. Let's see if we can do that now while we do this last side one. Camera up because we got a tall model. So there we go. Yeah, you can see how this one is just a shade off, and it's the same gray because we mixed, like I said, the Rainy Day Gray with just an Anita white. I think this is what I used for the Enterprise too as a base, and then I added a green. I'm not sure. I think I did. But yeah, that just gives that one panel a little bit of a difference. And you try to go random. Oop, there took a chunk. Like I said, I'm going to leave all that stuff there. I did a lot of things you can help to make it so the tape don't do that. Is just touch it to yourself and then peel it up. It picks up some of the lint. But that's okay. I wasn't overly worried about this, otherwise I would have put a clear coat before I knew I was going to start taping. Even just a light one will soak into the, but I'm not too worried about it. Oh, here's the back plate. And I hit some of those areas gray. Down here, these three I think get decals. There's little grill decals. That'll go on there. But for the decals, we do have to hit it with a clear. Yeah, I'm liking that. I don't mind a little chunk there. We can make a streak out of it, and any wear and tear, even me touching, is chipping some of it up. But the more damage to it, the better. And it's such a hard thing to move because the legs want to move, and then you got to get him back into position to set him back down, and then so he doesn't tilt, you got to lift that one up. It's one thing about these, I have to say for Phil, that having to actually animate these to get all these legs to sit right. It's a little weird. Maybe those had better joints because these are locked. I think the Bondi was pretty easy and nice. Oh, and I got the battery pack Velcroed in. All I did is just put some Velcro. I don't remember if I shot that or not, on the edges here and then on the edges of the battery pack, so that's not clanging around. I don't know if you can see the light's too washing it out. But I hit a bunch of the squares up here, and that's what I'm going to do, is continually go and hit all the raised squares and some other areas. As you can see here on their, all this is where they say to put gray. I might not do everywhere, but for most part. But I wanted to get this shaded panel because some of the grays are going to be on that. Like, I have to touch those two back up because I did those before I remembered that I wanted to do a couple shaded panels. And like I said, I just did that one there, and two on each side. You don't want to have to go crazy. You just want some weird, random things going on. Let's see if we can get this off without too much things happening. And you don't even have to push the tape down tight, because this can be a sloppy paint job. If there's a little overspray mist, that's fine, but usually you don't get that because you're doing light pressure. Or light PSI on the airbrush, so we don't have that issue. The Falcon, there's overspray. If you look at the actual pictures, there's overspray all over that. Their tape lines didn't even follow the panel lines always, because some of the panel lines have like those little square notches, and they would just tape straight across and not worry about the little in notches. And you can see where, you know, it oversprayed past their masking, but yeah, you don't notice. Only when you're up close do you notice it. You know, on film, it works, and a lot of the stuff they did is all about the camera, what the camera's gonna see. Yeah, this side didn't do it that bad, and then I tried to do a different panel on the front and back. Like here, I did the back. That one I did the front, just to break it up. But that's enough to give something to it. And then, you know, we're very early stages. We got many more things to go on to this, as far as the washes. And then we get those gray, all the little gray squares. That'll make your eye jump to things. And then when we get all the wash, the full wash we'll do, and then we'll start doing the streaks and the runs, and then maybe some pastels and stuff to highlight some panels. And then we'll call her good. But I'm going to keep trucking with painting the little gray squares all over. Like I said, I have to touch those two up. I missed it a little darker gray there, but it didn't really hurt that. I didn't want that one to be so sharp. And if you don't want them to be so sharp, you just light air pressure and just shh, and that gave that a little bit of a shade there, which I like. Pulls your eye kind of back there, but it's not as crisp. This one here looks a little darker than the side ones, but the side ones could just be because they're straight up and down. But once the wash hits, the regular hull color is going to deepen too from the wash. That's why I almost I went a little lighter on his color because I know the wash is going to bring it down. That's something I'll do on the Star Destroyer too, because I'd like to put a wash across it just to pull the detail out. And instead of sitting there and hitting every panel line with a wash, you know, you just make the shade, your base color, just a hair lighter than you normally would really want it to be finalized. You can even do a test and then do a little, you know, mix your color up or choose a color you want to use, and then do the full step. Let it dry, put a clear over it, hit it with a wash, and then see how it looks and see if it changes the color palette of the, you know, of your base coat, and see where it brings it. Oh, let me show you the little ATST. He actually came out pretty good for this old MPC kit. Yeah, I'm very happy with him. I don't know where my glasses went. There they are. And he falls over. He's a drunk. Let me give you a little. Yeah, but I put some putty in this hole here, and I used the a putty that has a solvent in it, and it started softening that leg joint up. You can see how it got a little wrinkly, but it kind of looks like cool damage, so I'm not worried about it. But it kind of pushed that foot a little bit out of position, so it was still soft. I actually started taping the feet down to where I wanted them and let it cure, and it's helped. But I still, until he's planted on a base, when we get the, I guess we're gonna probably do a base about the size of this cutting mat, which I think it's 60 centimeters, which is about 2 foot by 2 foot, I think, roughly. But I think something this size, and then I want to do like a kind of hill here where the rebels are entrenched. Maybe have a little peaks of building underneath the rock or dirt, and it's going to be a whole jungle scene. And I'm not sure how I'm going to have these guys laid out. I want him kind of on a border, but once we get him to a base, he'll stand better. That old mold line, or the old the pin that holds the two heads together, it left a little indent there. I went through with a Dremel and chopped him, and then I'll make a blast hit, so that's what you're seeing there. But all in all, he came out good. Painted him, hit him with a black, and then did the same gray as this. And I'll have to touch up a little there because my hand's touching it. And we might leave it alone because that looks like chipping too. Because I haven't got a clear coat on him yet neither. Him I could probably hit with a clear because I'm not doing any, I don't think I'm doing any squares because he's such a small scale. But our add-on piece here with the styrene looks so much better. The railing up on top that I scratch built, that looks good. And that's all we really did to him. Besides drilling the barrels out. Oh, and added the greeblies back here to kind of give it those pieces. They're a little more this weird shape. They would be a little bigger, but like I said, I'm trying to think of this as, you know, that smaller chicken walker. The actual chicken walker from Empire. It was a little smaller than the actual ATST CN Jedi, even though this is supposed to be it. But enough differences in this, that's what I'm going to call it. This is a different version than the ones you see on Jedi. During the whole Endor scene. But yeah, he's looking good, but I'm trying let's not handle him until I get a clear coat. But yeah, those extra panels, that shading, that worked. So I'm going to, like I said, continue on. I just wanted to have this as a little quick update. And till next time, see you soon.